Since we started our business, we developed over 50 different systems to keep us and our company moving forward. And today we're going to talk about the systems that we use today. And the first category of these are actually our routines, which I think is a really, really big system that we have, and we're breaking it down into different time frames. So on the daily, we're pretty much like machines. We do a bunch of things every day. Our alarm basically goes off around 8 or so in the morning, and then we firstly read a book, whether it's audiobook or reading it actually on our phones, and then we get ready, and then we have this morning smoothie ritual where Kayla comes downstairs and makes us smoothies with frozen fruit and some green powder and almond milk and a lot of great healthy stuff. And then one of the things we learned is that you want to make a beeline to sunlight and get some physical activity in. So we actually take the smoothies and we do like a 2 or 3 minute walk outside, just kind of get ourselves out into fresh air, nice sun, drinking the smoothie. And then we come back, and one of the first thing we do is this stretch that we got from Taiwan class. Check out that show. In the show, they do kind of this routine every time they open up their restaurant. So it was a really great way to kind of get us doing a light stretch, get blood flowing, and get kind of blood going through our legs. And then we look at our Notion board, which we talked about in the past. We call it the hustle list. So the night before, we looked at everything and we look at what's up for today, so we know what order we are doing things in. And then Kayla recently started this new thing where, to get us kind of motivated every day, we have a little countdown on our whiteboard. It's days until the new year. So Kayla goes up there and wipes off a number and marks it down, and that really reinforces us to move forward. And then that's when we begin our day. We basically do a bunch of meetings, and then we go into prospecting, and that is the beginning of the first half of our day.
Yeah, so once we've gotten everything kind of established, we get into the routine of the rhythm of the morning. We then kind of break it off. We have a break for lunch. We've been doing these factors lately. Very, very helpful. And then once we have lunch, kind of, take a moment to catch our breath. We go back into our meetings, mainly back into our prospecting too, because that is a good time for us to call. And then after that secondary block, we'll hit our workout and dinner combo. So Planet Fitness has been the number one since day one. And for dinner, we're pretty simple as well. After that, we'll head back into work. So we'll finish up any late night things that are not time sensitive, that kind of thing. And then of course, you gotta shower the day off. You gotta get it out of here. So I'll take a shower. And then after that, we'll do another work block. And this is where we do a lot of our learning. YouTube has been an incredible resource for us recently. And we'll also prepare for the next day. On top of that, we'll do our thing called Clockify. It's this really cool tool that we found that can track our time basically. And we look over like, oh man, we've only worked a little bit. Maybe we need to go work some more. So we'll review that and go through that again. Then we'll get ready to go to bed, brush teeth, all about that good hygiene and everything. We will watch a show, because that, I think, is one of our favorite things to do. Like, we're watching Better Call Saul right now, and it's awesome. And then another thing that he generally sets up is the humidifier, because it's so dry where we live. It's great to have a humidifier to like keep the air kind of moist.
That's
I guess.
right. Yeah.
So that's kind of like the wrap for the daily thing. We really have solidified this routine, and this is quite literally what's been going on for the last few weeks solidly. On the week time frame though, we have these things called masterminds. Basically it's a period of time where we can talk, strategize, we go over the things that we did good, the things that we did not so good at, that kind of thing, and we'll write on the whiteboard, clean that off. From there too, we'll also do our client notes. So any time of, note that they give us or task, make sure that's organized. And then we will also schedule meetings for the next week.
Right. And all of this is happening usually on Saturdays. It takes about 1 or 2 hours. But on top of the mastermind, the whiteboard, the client meeting, looking at the client notes and scheduling the meetings, we actually also look at our QuickBooks. So at the end of the week, we'll go through our QuickBooks self-employed and we basically parse out all of the transactions. So we mark the ones that are business as business and then exclude the other ones that we don't need. We also use Saturday to plan out the YouTube planning for the next week. So for these videos, we'll figure out what's the next video, what do we need to do for our channel to improve on it, and how to script it out for the rest of the week. And we also recently, the past month, started cleaning. So
we've always been cleaning.
Yes,
just to put that out there.
So cleaning, we like to keep it kind of fresh mind. We're kind of cleaning out our whiteboard, our Notion board, but physically our space. So we'll vacuum our office and we'll wipe down kind of our bathroom and our desk and everything, so that we're kind of rejuvenated for the week. And since we say say no a lot to activities during the week because we're always hustling on the weekdays. We try to carve out time on the weekends for friends and family. So whenever we're done with masterminding, we'll visit family or friends and hang out with people like that. And then obviously sometimes we'll have to do a grocery restock. So we like to be very efficient during the week. Hence why we have things like Factor, and we'll do most of our grocery restock, which includes things, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, little snacks, sometimes ice cream, which you should cut back on. But yeah, so that's what happens on the week time frame. And then we'll talk a little more about what happens on every month.
Yeah, so every single month we kind of have a routine that we go through. It is similar to our week, but a little bit more of a broad overview. So like we'll do our personal finances and our business finances every single month. Basically, if I need to pay him some rent, then I'll pay him some rent. Just to get things organized. We do this through QuickBooks and spreadsheets, of course. Deep clean. Deep clean. After a month, things get kind of, not so great. So we deep clean. We go over our goals, like did we hit the goals this month? Did we come short on a few? We'll reevaluate that kind of thing and plan for the next month moving forward. Something that we try to do is dates.
Yes.
So gotta keep the love alive, especially because we work together.
Once a month.
Yeah. So we're going to Ka this month.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's a show at the MGM in Las Vegas.
A Cirque du Soleil. So there's acrobats and stuff. And then we also try to do something outdoorsy because, we live in the house like 24/7 pretty much now.
At the very least, we'll do, a local hike.
Yeah.
Or if not, we'll drive a little further and just do something more outdoors in nature.
Yeah, just get that, outside fix. And then, so we'll do our car wash. We'll basically vacuum things out, make sure it looks spick and span. That's monthly.
So we have daily, weekly, monthly routines, and we also have things quarterly. We'll visit our CPA. Shout out to Mark Sherman, the best CPA in the world or the universe. Look him up. He's awesome. Realtor, investor, and just an amazing accountant. And then we also try to travel quarterly as well. So this year we did that whole Egypt, Dubai, and Japan in the spring.
Yep.
And then recently we came back from the Nordics trip between Denmark, Norway, and Poland.
Poland, yes.
So that's quarterly. And then every year we'll do a whole, reflection of goals, right? We do goals every week, every month, but there's a big one at the end of the year. And then a huge finances reevaluation, whether it's, we do like 4, I think. We do my personal one, her personal one, our joint personal ones, and then our business finances. So those are the type of things that we do in terms of routines for daily, weekly, monthly, and annually.
Yeah, so just on note 2 on the finances, this guy over here is a finances guru, and I would never have looked at my finances this clearly until I had someone like you. So just thank you for doing that. Namaste. But that's generally the personal side. The business side is completely different in terms of what systems we're doing with those. Some of these we've already talked about. So like our client service delivery, we have a video for that. So go ahead and check that out when you get a second. But generally it breaks down into notes, weekly meetings, and messaging. Basically, they'll give us tasks. We'll meet with them once a week or once every other week to kind of decipher those tasks, get priority, that kind of thing. And then of course, messaging between our client, our team, that kind of thing. And again, we have a whole tools video on how we actually set that up. So go ahead and check that out as well.
Yeah. And then along with business, there's also things we do within the business cycle. So we have a video about how we do sales. Of course, there's systems revolving how we do prospecting. So for example, the prospecting sheet we have our VA look up med spas in different cities, and then she puts it into our Google sheet, which we then use for cold calls. And we have a system on how we take notes and figuring out how do we email them afterwards or sending them a DM on Instagram afterwards. There's a whole kind of system of how we do sales. Also sales calls, we mentioned before that we kind of do a little recon beforehand before we get in. We kind of, we of course change a little bit, make ourselves look a little presentable. We set up the meeting and the camera and the microphone just so that, we look more professional. And then we have a system on closing. So whenever we get the payment processor ready, and to make sure that, that doesn't hinder us from closing the client on the spot. And then we also have onboarding systems, kind of. We have like a template that we send to the client of like, hey, here are the things we need from you in order to get started with delivering for your services, and a bunch of things like that. So I think all around the business, there's just systems that help us kind of stay productive and organized.
All right. So that's a majority of the business ones. Obviously, there's a lot of depth that we could go into with those, but we'll save that for another video. There's some other stuff that we do too that we just thought we would share because they're kind of noteworthy. The first one is timing. I've never met someone who is more like a clock in my life until I met Gregory.
Yes.
He's like got
Master of
perfect
time.
internal time. Like
Dr. Strange.
You have like perfect pitch, but with time. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a good one.
But something that helps us, because I am not the time master, is setting alarms. So whether it be our Google Home, whether it be Siri, whether it be, just, setting up our little digital clock, like having an alarm set is super important for us to make sure we get to things on time. Both of us, mainly me though. And then the other thing is duration. So of course we could do everything all at once and do like, YouTube for 8 hours or client delivery for 8 hours, but we find that's just like not the best for us. So what we found out is, actually, I would love if you could talk about the 1% thing with the duration. I feel like you're better at explaining this.
Yeah, so the idea is that, how do you eat an elephant? It's piece by piece. And similarly, if you want to accomplish big goals, you could just work a little bit every day. And the idea is that if you do 1% every day, then after 1 year or 365 days, you're now 3,700% better. So what we do is, for example, the YouTube script, instead of doing it all the night before, we'll do 10 minutes on Monday, 10 minutes on Tuesday, 10 minutes on Wednesday, and by the end of the week, everything will be there. And it was all kind of spread out.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
That has been really helpful for us, especially with, taking over big kind of daunting tasks. So that's kind of more on the time side. The meal side is another thing that we wanted to bring out because that has been really a game changer for us. I don't think I would call either of us like amazing cooks. Like we can cook, but it's not like, gourmet. So we find that it just takes too much time to buy groceries, prep groceries, cook the food, clean up, like do all of that stuff. So instead, we've decided to use Factor, which are basically like these pre-made meals. You just poke some holes, throw them in the microwave, and then eat them. And they're pretty nutritious. They're made fresh. They're never frozen. So it's been really helpful. And then, of course, we've split it between the two of us. So I will make it and he will clean it.
Right, exactly.
So that's the other thing. We've talked about being outdoors and active. Of course, getting that vitamin D is really important for us. Being in nature, that kind of thing, especially when it gets stressful, has been really good for us. And then I would love for you to talk a little bit more about the organization, accountability, and ergonomics, because I feel like you're good at that.
I mean, just in general, we try to stay organized. I think when there's a lot of going on in the company, you kind of lose priorities of different things. And then so we want to make sure that there are systems in place to stay organized, like Notion and our calendars, keeping people accountable on when deadlines are happening. And of course, ergonomics. So we work from home all the time. And in the long run, it's really bad for your body, right? So we have, So we have like a pull-up bar, we have our ergonomic chairs, we have our ergonomic screens, our standing desk, a standing mat. Although we don't use all of those as much as we should be, at least they're there, in sight and in mind. And those are really the systems that we've built for our company. Let us know in the comments if there's a system that we miss, that you do, that you think we should do. And in our next video, we'll talk about our finances and how we keep ourselves in the green.
Yeah. So we upload weekly, of course, so don't forget to like,
subscribe,
and hit that bell notification. Ding! To follow us on our journey. Until then, peace.
So, week recap.
Yeah.
How did it go for you this week?
Oh man, it was a weird week for me. It felt like it went fast and slow. Like the beginning of the week went by really slow, and then now it's Friday.
Right.
So, but I think overall it's been good. Yeah. I think we learned a lot this week about ourselves, about the way we work, all sorts of things that have been really insightful for us. So I thought it was overall a net positive. How about you?
Yeah, I think we go up and down, and I think this is more on the coming downside, but not at the bottom side. Yeah. Like last week was really good. We were getting momentum with more sales meetings, booking sales calls. But this week it was like not as bad as nothing, but kind of, we had some sales calls we couldn't really close. I also noticed that I'm getting a little more fatigue in a way. Yeah. It's interesting because like last week we were consistently making 7 hours of work every day. And now there was we had an entrepreneur day on Tuesday where we took we worked less, and our average per day was a little less, like 6.5-ish or something. Mm-hmm. So yeah, kind of refining the process.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of good learning, and we're realizing that we need to kind of take a break and kind of re-strategize and
refocus?
Yeah, refocus or reorganize. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll see how next week goes. And we got how many more days until the new year?
Oh my gosh, 59.
59. Woo! There you go. All right.
Cool.
Good?
Yeah, right. I think so.
And a little handshake nation.
Hey,
Boom.
Let's go.